Dr. Watson, would you kindly close the door behind you so that we can limit the price of your carelessness to merely hours of work rather than days?
My apologies, Mr. Holmes. I found myself rather taken aback. I saw tidier houses in war-torn Afghanistan. Are those my surgical needles?
I ran out of tacks and the matter required immediate attention.
Was that my supper?
Plainly not, for I was the one who ate it.
I set it aside for this evening.
And for that I am grateful.
Is that my bed?
Watson, since you've proven yourself a master of observation, might I ask you to apply your skills to a more pertinent question? Namely, the whereabouts of today's newspapers. They are the key to everything. The newsboy is usually reliable.
Medically speaking, I often find that the key to everything is good sleep. In a bed. Your papers are here, on the table.
Let us see what the postman brought today.
This mess is getting out of hand. What will the landlady think?
Local gossip, all of it uninteresting. Your order from Barnes' bookshop has arrived, Doctor.
Barnes insists on delivering the books to our door, even though we could easily walk to his shop. That's good service.
Another letter from Werner. I never reply, but they keep coming. I don't see the Strand. Where is it?
Pardon me?
I am on the precipice of uncovering a pattern of crime across London spanning many months and involving many men. The missing paper cannot be a coincidence.
That's preposterous.
My dear fellow, life is infinitely stranger than anything which the mind of man can invent.
Well, life used your newspaper to wipe its posterior, so after that unpleasant discovery this morning, I disposed of it. But in lieu of the Strand, perhaps I can deliver you something equally tantalizing. I have just returned from a patient of mine, Captain Stemwick, who...
No, that will not do. Grab your coat, Dr. Watson. Let us hope nobody has collected the dustbin.
The dustbin is yours for the digging, Mr. Holmes.
You were mistaken, Dr. Watson. The paper was indeed dirtied, but not how you implied. It's potting soil. A cactus spine. If it gets in your skin, it's awfully tricky to remove, and when laced with poison, the perfect assassination tool. See, Watson? The conspiracy is real. Someone tried to poison me.
Poison? You? That's madness.
Get the Strand! Get your copy of the Strand here! Sorry, Mr. Holmes. I just sold my last paper.
Blast. Then why are you still here?
Boss pays by the hour. No sense in returning early.
You're a bright child. I presume you see everything that goes on around here?
Nothing gets past me, mister.
Then tell me, did you notice anyone suspicious at my door this morning?
Like the man with your newspaper?
Precisely. What do you know?
I know the value of a shilling.
Dr. Watson,
Cool, now I can take the day off.
did you see what he was up to?
Nah, not really. I saw him approaching your house, but I had a customer. Then there's a loud bang. I ducked down. Not 'cause I was scared, 'cause I wasn't. I had to protect the merchandise. And all I could see was him kneeling at your door.
Which way did he go?
Not sure. I was distracted by customers. Sorry.
Can you describe the man you saw?
He was carrying a lot of books. Up to his chin they were.
Never heard of a well-read assassin.
Looks can deceive. Hence the appeal of disguises. All right. You earned your shilling. That'll be all.
Thanks, Mr. Holmes. Maybe I could be your eyes and ears. If you have more shillings. Get the strand. Copy of the strand here.
Not every pawn knows it's part of a game. Mr. Barnes, a word. Ah, for goodness sake.
Who goes there?
Sherlock Holmes. Now will you please?
Mr. Holmes. Golly, I did not see you come in.
Would you care to answer some questions for me?
Well, I wish I could, but I am deep in the weeds with work. How about we reschedule in a month or two?
Come now, Mr. Barnes. It will only take a moment.
No, really deep in the weeds with important things. Well, help yourself to any book. Just take it to pay later. I trust you, Mr. Holmes.
Barnes doesn't seem like himself. Why is he acting this way?
You're asking the right questions. Let's find a way to coax him out. The ladder is broken, recently, judging by the freshness of the wood. I could hardly imagine anything more macabre. Basics of cryptoanalysis, cryptography in Egypt. It appears Barnes has an interesting hobby. So, Barnes has a dog now. Who's a good boy? Finest view London has to offer. In the language of Mycroft's secret agents, it's a sign. Dried flowers are replaced when the job is done. I wonder who the recipient is. An improvised stand, but it does make the flowers more visible.
Barnes has always been a little odd, but this is uncharacteristic even for him.
Hello there. What's your name?
Lily. I know, not very original. The weather is dreary, isn't it? To be fair, my flowers could use the rainfall.
Encouraging people to stop and smell the roses?
Our national anthem. God save the Queen.
It must take patience and care to produce a bloom so beautiful.
I imagine so. I merely sell.
Familiar spine? Is this what I found in my dustbin? The pot is damaged. The blow was severe, but softened by something.
Anything tickle your fancy, Mr. Holmes?
Mrs. Fleming, you look particularly lovely today. Is there a reason?
Does a woman need a reason to look or feel beautiful?
No, but your distant look suggests you seek one man's gaze in particular.
Who told you that?
Nobody. Merely a keen eye and some simple deduction.
Well, I'll kindly ask you to keep your keen eye to yourself, Mr. Holmes.
Are you familiar with Mr. Barnes?
Yes. No, not really. Well, in a way.
What on earth does that mean?
I know who he is, of course, but we haven't shared much more than a look.
A look?
Yes. Each morning I go for a walk in the park with my dog, and most days I spot Mr. Barnes there with his new puppy. So we see each other, Actually, we once met briefly while our dogs played. He was quiet and seemed unsteady as he approached. But since then, we've never spoken. I often see him staring through the shop window. Sometimes I wonder what he thinks about that would etch such longing onto his face. Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller.
One of these things is not like the other.
Come again?
The cactus. Those fearsome spines can prove a devil to remove, and the sap is often toxic.
And a rose thorn can give you tetanus, but we still grow them. The cactus seems comparatively harmless, though you have me thinking it must be valuable.
I was under the impression that you knew its price already.
Your guess is as good as mine. The first time I saw this cactus was when I came back from my break. Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller. Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller. I don't know anything about this, sorry. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes. Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller.
What do you make of the flowers in Barnes' shop window?
Well, they could use a bit of water.
Do they mean anything to you?
Mean anything how? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Holmes.
Why do you think they're there?
Are you suggesting the flowers are for me?
It seems likely, does it not?
Oh, I hope you're right.
Apologies, but I can't hear you. Please come back later.
We're looking for a cactus needle in a haystack. A spine in a book stack? No, come on, Watson, think.
I should have worn something warmer. People don't tend to come out for flowers when it rains. Perhaps I should try selling door to door. Have a look at my flowers. They will not bite, unless you touch their thorns.
I like bookshops. One of the few spots in London where you are shunned for making a racket.
I think perhaps I have been chasing shadows.
Do not despair, Mr. Holmes. Even the best of us make mistakes. We better tell Mr. Barnes what we've learned.
Mr. Barnes, I know what you did, and I know why you did it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes. I can't hear you very well from behind the door.
You ordered a cactus from the plant catalogue and then left it for Mrs. Fleming as a gift. You place flowers in the window to get her attention and wear high heels to appear taller and more desirable. You are her secret admirer. I couldn't read this morning's edition of The Strand because it was covered in soil and spines. I know you dropped a cactus on it and then fled.
Barnes, it's Dr. Watson. Rest assured we are not interested in disclosing your personal affairs to anyone, including Mrs. Fleming. Please come out.
All right, then.
So, you know what happened then? I was on my way back from the post office, having picked up the cactus and some books. It was quite an awkward package, heavy too, and when I got to your door, I dropped the cactus and your paper. Forgive me.
I needed that paper to prove a theory and prevent a crime. Your actions were rather disruptive. Your clumsiness carrying the post is matched only by the clumsiness of your romantic gesture.
Oh, it's true. I am useless with this sort of thing. I'm not even sure if Mrs. Fleming noticed.
As in most things in life, truth is the answer. Cease with the abstruse signals and anonymous gifts, and simply talk to the woman. What is the worst that can happen? She rejects you, and you are freed from this endless purgatory.
That... Yes, you are correct, of course. I do have a slight tendency to overthink things. Thank you.
So at last, we return to the matter of the paper. I'm investigating a string of burglaries. Did you perhaps read of any before the edition was spoiled?
I don't recall, but you're welcome to read our copy for yourself.
You had an issue of The Strand here all along?
Well, naturally. I am a bookseller. I have a subscription to every magazine and newspaper in London.
So you ought to be familiar with the concept of burying the lead.
Oh no, my apologies, Mr. Holmes. I'll make it up to you however I can. I am an expert on obscure languages and translation and
Yes, okay. Just give me the paper. Come, Dr. Watson. Let us put this matter behind us.
Farewell, Mr. Barnes. I hope to hear good news about you and Mrs. Fleming.
let me know if there's any way I can make it up to you. Tell you what, tomorrow's edition of The Strand is on me.
I'm sure Barnes has had enough of our meddling, Mr. Holmes. We best be off.
Well, that was an utter waste of time.
An assassination did seem rather unlikely.
There was supposed to be another burglary. I was certain of it. Something you wish to say, Doctor?
No. Well, only that you have a remarkable faculty for deduction and pattern recognition. And that perhaps, if ill applied,
I see things that are not there.
Yes. It is London. There will always be burglaries. Doesn't have to mean anything.
So it seems. Forgive me. Without something to occupy my mind, I turn into an entirely different animal.
Which brings us back to my news from earlier. I think I have a case for you, a real one.
Truly?
Indeed. Though perhaps not as thrilling as your stories from Cordona. A patient of mine, Captain Stenwick, told me that his servant disappeared. I said I knew just the man to help. What do you say?
Oh, Watson.
Yes, I know it's not the most tantalizing mystery, nor the story to launch my writing career. But...
It's brilliant. Let's go.
Oh, good. Well, his house is nearby. Come. Stenwick is just down the street from Barnes's bookshop.
Is this lousy attitude of yours because of my altercation with Inspector Lockhart? Did he put you up to this?
Sir, the inspector has nothing to do with it. I'm telling you the same thing I tell anyone seeking a missing person.
Good day, gentlemen. Forgive the intrusion. Captain Stenwick, this is my colleague Sherlock Holmes, the consulting detective I told you about.
At last, a professional. This useless officer refuses to do anything about Kimmy here, my missing servant. What was your name again? I shall be certain to inform your superiors.
Sergeant Ruffles. And it's my superiors who made this decision, sir.
Have there been other disappearances lately?
Of course, here and there. But when life is tough and opportunity comes knocking, you can't blame those who answer.
Why has the police department decided not to help?
We investigate murders, thefts, fraud, arson, real crimes. A servant walking away from his master is not our highest priority. That said, if we find Kimahia breaking the law, we'll be sure to notify Captain Stenwick. Now, I must be off. Best of luck in your search.
You heard that, didn't you? The way that man spoke to me. I shall need your written testimony, then we can lodge a complaint.
Captain, perhaps Mr. Holmes' time is better spent learning about your servant, so that he may begin his investigation.
Ah, yes. Quite right. Fire away.
Tell me about Kimahia.
He's foreign. A Maori. All the way from New Zealand. Biggest man you've ever seen, and as strong as two. Dark hair and fearsome tattoos. He doesn't speak a whit of English. Never bothered to learn. But I made do with pointing. I invested a lot of money in him, so he must be found.
When did you last see your servant?
Kimmy here normally brings me the morning papers, but yesterday I had to get them myself. He must have escaped the night before yesterday.
May I see your servant's bedroom?
His shack is in the garden. You can't miss it.
Did you search the room?
Of course, but only to check he wasn't lying dead inside. Everything seemed normal at a glance.
Is there any reason Kimahia may have left?
I should think not. He had all he could have wanted. Gainful employment, new clothes, and all the cabbage he could eat.
Did Kimahia make off with anything of value?
Heavens, no. I would have mentioned it to Sergeant Ruffles.
Still, he must have fled with some money on his person.
No. I kept his wages in my safe. For security.
I take it this is the first time Kimahia has vanished?
Undoubtedly. The man seemed terrified of the city. I think it was all the noise. He never left this estate. Should he cause any damage, I will bear the responsibility, for it was I who rescued him from savagery and brought him here to England in the first place.
All right, Captain. I think I have enough to get started. We shall first take a look around the mansion.
Go ahead. I'll be here, mentally drafting my complaint.
Looks like a knee print. Chewing tobacco. A shoe print, roughly size 11, with a worn-out sole. These are a workman's boots. Someone knelt here. The amount of chewing tobacco suggests they were waiting a while.
Amazing, Mr. Holmes. To have the ground like
This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right. Could have left these tracks. They seem fresh. A scrap of Hessian. These were sturdy boxes. It would have required a serious blow to break them. Impressive. The sack of grain retained the shape of an impact. Someone hit their head here. A small navy spyglass. A Maori nose flute. Ngurus, they're called. Clothes made of Hessian. Is Stenwick really so miserly? The ashes are long since cold. Button chops. The remains of a meal. Heavy chemical odor. Lend me your nose, Doctor.
Ah, I'll never forget that smell after my time in Afghanistan. That's an opioid, Mr. Holmes, a narcotic.
No air coming through it. Is this a Tanifar, a Maori water spirit, or something else?
Either way, it's giving me chills.
The rag reeks of smoke. Someone plugged the chimney.
Stenwick makes a silk. Tool shed. You think you know someone.
This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right. I will not be long, Captain. I will not be long, Captain. Someone moved a cart to this spot and then took it elsewhere. Can't see it anywhere in the garden. This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right.
Do you think Kimmy here had an accomplice in this escape?
I will not be long, Captain. I will not be long, Captain. I will not be long, Captain. This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right.
Yes, Denwick is no angel, but he's one of my few clients. Please, try to remain courteous.
I will not be long, Captain. I will not be long, Captain.
This disappearance is intriguing, no? I cannot make head nor tail of it.
I will not be long, Captain. I will not be long, Captain. The door to your garden has an interesting lock.
Yes, I have uncommon locks on every door of my mansion. It makes them harder to pick. Kimmy here and I both had a set of keys.
I'll need to borrow them.
No, you'll need to do what I tell you to do. Examine the garden. I thought you were meant to be intelligent.
Is this spyglass familiar?
I don't recognize it.
Could it be Kimahir's, perhaps?
I doubt it. I never saw him with it, nor could I suggest how he might have come by it. Where on earth are you going with this?
Has Kimahir ever indulged in tobacco?
No, the man doesn't even drink.
Are you certain? I found chewing tobacco in the garden.
I controlled Kimahir's expenses since he struggled with the currency. I would have known if he used tobacco. Are you joking? Why would I know this? I thought you were meant to be intelligent. Are you joking? Why would I know this? I thought you were meant to be intelligent.
Do you happen to know Kimahir's shoe size?
I wouldn't have the foggiest. But I'm sure it was enormous. Not that it matters. He spent his life barefoot. Despite my best efforts, he simply did not take to shoes.
I came across a pile of Hessian clothes in the shack. Are they Kimahir's?
Yes. I had to give him something to clothe himself. He seemed unfazed by his bare skin, but I found it distracting. Why are you still here?
Surveilling from afar, the intruder waited for a window of opportunity. When Kimahir went to sleep, the man crept up to the shack and slipped narcotics down the chimney pipe, then blocked it with a cloth. Kimahir inhaled the sedative and fell into a deep sleep. The intruder tried to move him, but the man was heavier than expected. The intruder fell on the sack and dropped his spyglass. In order to transport the servant, he had to use the cart. The final challenge was opening the garden door. Luckily for our intruder, Kimahir had the key in his shack.
It makes total sense.
You'd best have found something by now, gentlemen.
I found the residue of narcotics in Kimahir's brazier. There are several explanations, perhaps your servant's recreational interest, or an attempt at poisoning.
Cut to the chase, Mr. Holmes.
I fear that someone may have spied upon Kimahir, likely the owner of the spyglass I found earlier. It appears they were watching for some time, as there was an impressive amount of chewing tobacco on the ground.
And your point?
You said that you checked the shack earlier. Did you notice the cart tracks near it? Now, one ought to expect a servant to make regular use of such a thing. Indeed, I would have overlooked the detail were it not for the cart's absence. If, as you say, Kimahir never leaves your estate, then where did it go?
I expect answers from you, Mr. Holmes, not questions.
I won't keep you in suspense any longer, Captain. Kimahir was abducted by the owner of the spyglass. When your servant fell asleep, he slipped a narcotic into Kimahir's brazier to make him sleep even more soundly. In order to carry a man as large as Kimahir, the intruder stole the cart and rolled him right out of your garden.
Now, hold on. All this simply to tell me what I already know? Why haven't you found him yet?
I only arrived a moment ago. It is, frankly, incredible that I have already deduced so much.
Every second you dawdle here, waiting for me to stroke your ego, is another second wasted. I'm not interested in the how, the why, or the who. I am only interested in recovering my investment. Spare me the claptrap, boy, and go and fetch my servant.
The point is, Captain, we're telling you this for a reason. The intruder fled through the garden door, and we need a key to follow his trail.
Well, then you should have led with that. Here you go. I hope you'll return soon with good news. And in the meantime, please teach your companion the art of brevity.
Wheels picked up grass along the way. Kimahia's cart, I gather. Sturdy rope, professionally tied in a Portuguese bowline. This knot is often used by sailors to create a bosun's chair. Roy Soulsby. Could that be the name of our man? A strange substance. I have my suspicions based on the color and consistency, but would you care to hazard a guess, Doctor? Then we're in agreement. Well done. A large pile of horse droppings. Many cigarette butts. Someone stood here for hours. There was a cab waiting here. Our abductor slipped in and then off into the night. What does it say? What does it say? No seams or torn fabric on this doll. Likely one-legged by design. A treasure hunt. Used to do lots of those in my childhood, for myself and... or both. The Strand proved not so useless after all. The saltpeter accident. Doctor, do you recall? Indeed. We shall need to take a cab there. A miner with a sooty face. At least, in doll form. What's this?
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
Unnaturally bent legs, yet they look to be a design choice. Seems to be for me. model of a homely room and fireplace. Chimney bears a peculiar form, like it's meant to have something put inside. Looks like a factory to me. Wonder what could get the gears inside moving. A small minecart. Endearing, if disturbing. Looks like putting something in the slot may get the gears inside to move. What a grim view. Children's clothes, judging by the size. Padlocks have names etched onto them. Anne, Tom, Charles. Tom. Anne. Charles. Last doll seems recently made. Tom, Charles, Anne, and Mary. Not sure I like the treasure hunt's ending.
Really have saved Holmes.
No. Solving this crime is beyond my reach. It is society who must work on sparing children from death by hard labor.
Let's just go. Stenwick wanted results.
Could you help me?
It's a shame, but I can't help you.
Is this familiar to you?
I wish I could be of help, but I can't. Sorry.
Where to, Gov?
The Port of London, please. I will show you where to stop.
Mr. Holmes, what a compelling mystery we have stumbled upon. Perhaps I have the premise of my next novel.
One kidnapping does not a story make.
Stop! A black cat crossed before us. It's a bad omen.
I did not take you for the superstitious type, Doctor. Such things are mere fantasies, tricks of a feeble mind. One imagines a physician would keep a surer footing in reality.
Perhaps. Before the war, my time abroad was difficult. Once, I came across an Afghan, bleeding, who I could not save. He pressed a rosary into my hand. A gift, he said, so as to gain God's favor. After that...
Dr. Watson?
Yes, well, I shan't get into details, but sometime later I found myself lost in the desert. Dehydration set in, and things grew ever more dire. The man's words came to me. I said a prayer and placed the rosary on a rock. A gift to gain God's favor.
And you were rescued.
Yes. A detachment of British soldiers found me.
To whom I'm grateful. Without their diligence, you would not be standing here and I would not have this case.
I'm sure you have another explanation prepared, Mr. Holmes, but I think I shall cling to the occasional superstition all the same.
To each his own, Dr. Watson. So long as it does not interfere with my methods, to wit, we must press on, cat or no cat. The question remains, why abduct Kimmer here? Could you help me?
Oh, you're fortunate. I will help you.
Could you help me?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Hardly a reputable establishment.
I've seen... worse. Greetings, miss. I'm hoping you can help us.
We shall soon see.
I heard tell of a recent explosion in the port. What do you know of it?
Ah, yes. Something exploded in a ship's cargo hold. Caused a terrible blaze. The sky was red with smoke till morning.
Where precisely did it occur?
The ship sank near the third pier, next to the dockyard.
Are you familiar with a Roy Soulsby?
Roy Soulsby? I know the name, but he's not one of my regulars. My guess is that he works somewhere around here. Have you been drinking?
What do you know about this poster?
A foreign woman asked to put it up. She's plastered them all over the port.
Any clues as to her whereabouts?
None. It was hard to understand what she was saying.
Miss, what if I told you that you are in the family way?
No, really? Oh, thank you, sir. How would I, a simple woman, have ever known without your help? You must be a doctor.
In a manner of speaking.
He's not. He merely has the ego of one. I apologize, miss. Mr. Holmes is fond of his observations, but I am the doctor here, not him. Do you need any help?
I'm fine, thank you. I would rather not discuss my condition, nor let word of it spread.
My colleague and I are seeking a burly man, above average height, with workman's boots.
Half my customers, then. Your description hardly narrows things down. What can I get you?
It appears that the saltpeter explosion rattled the locals. Can't blame them for scaring them. It's a large harbor. If our kidnapper is hiding here, finding him won't be easy.
you're a doctor. The man is very sick here.
So those people will need my help.
Hello, this is Dr. Watson. We'll take a look at your friend.
To watch how a man suffocates himself for food.
Freshly dug up treasures, it seems. The subject is hyperventilating. He has a pale face and dilated pupils. The water has a curious whitish tinge to it. Dilated pupils, decolorized skin, necrosis. What do you make of this, Doctor?
What are you looking at? You like to watch how a man suffocates himself for food?
The coffin won't go away, and the doctor's too pricey. The coffin won't go away, and the doctor's too pricey.
Gruesome. It's been decomposing for weeks. If this were the origin of the disease, it would have started sooner than a few days ago. Hello, lad. Is this where I may find Dea?
You read the poster? Yes? You know where my brother Girves is?
Sadly, no. Well, not yet. Where did you last see Girves?
He worked at a, warehouse. This man, Roy Solby, gave him the job. He paid him a necklace.
Do you still have the necklace that Soulsby gave to Girves?
Girves left it near the, shrine. I tried to sell it to buy medicine, but no one wanted to buy.
How would you describe this Soulsby?
He was big and strong. He had a big scary eye.
Scary, you say?
Yes, like it was made of metal.
I want to speak to Dea. Is she around?
Amma, my mother, she got sick after the fire. Big red smoke. She couldn't breathe, so I took her to the doctor. Now I am in charge.
Don't go anywhere.
pile of rotten food. It carries danger, but not of the kind that we witnessed. The waterway goes under the buildings. We'll need to find other open sections in order to continue our search.
Almost no fish the last couple of days.
Is this familiar to you?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
Excuse me, just one question.
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
May I ask you something?
It's a shame I can't answer your question.
May I ask for your assistance?
I can't tell you because I don't know.
Almost no fish the last couple of days.
May I ask you something?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
Excuse me, just one question.
Look, sorry, I know nothing.
Excuse me, just one question.
Oh, sorry, I know nothing.
May I ask for your assistance?
Look, sorry, I know nothing.
Could you help me?
As much as I'd like to help you, I know nothing about this.
May I ask for your assistance?
As much as I'd like to help you, I know nothing about this.
Help me, please.
Miles Dalton swears.
Over there.
Must be serious.
Could you help me?
I wish I could be of help, but I can't. Sorry.
not in the mood, mate. Shoo!
Pardon me, sir. I am looking for Roy...
Not again. Yes, I'm Roy, but I can't help you find your uncle or whoever you've lost.
Now, what makes you think I would inquire about missing people?
You are the fourth person to ask this week. Just because I work at the port doesn't mean I keep track of everyone who comes here.
May I ask what you're doing here?
This is where the ship sank the other day. I'm trying to work out how we'll remove it.
You say we are not the first to ask you about a disappearance. Do you recall anything about those who came inquiring?
I only remember the foreign woman. I didn't catch her name, but those are her posters hanging up everywhere. She has badgered me twice now, but I still don't know nothing.
And this woman can be found?
No clue. She was talking gibberish.
Now, where was I? I shall take my leave.
What are you gawping at?
Have you seen this before?
My card? Where did you dig that up?
At a crime scene near Baker Street involving a young servant's kidnapping, I might add.
No. Someone used it without my consent. How else would it end up there? What are you on about? Sorry, doesn't ring a bell.
I have been told that you hired Dea's son, Girves, right before he vanished. His brother also said you had a metal eye. What do you make of this?
Tell that him to stop making things up. That boat explosion stopped most traffic coming into the port. Guess I'll be without work for a while. Wonder why people are going missing. Puts a man on edge, you know.
Is this familiar to you?
No, sir, I've never heard of it.
How can I try and flag someone down?
May I ask you something?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Good evening, Constable. I heard some people talking of ghosts in this warehouse.
Gossips, all of them. An old lady neighbour saw some lights and ghostly shapes in the middle of the night. She heard music too. Turns out this was the warehouse of Grandpa Kujak. He owned a business with theatre props for scary shows. I went in and... well, it is a bit creepy. But I think it was probably just some kids fooling around.
Do you mind if I take a look inside?
Not at all. It's like Madame Tussauds, only worse. I'll be on the beat round the pub for the rest of the night. Damned explosion. Good night, sir.
Have you ever heard of a man with a metallic eye?
I've seen him even. Dirty Summers is the name. A nasty lout, with a silver ball in place of a missing eye.
I shudder to ask, but where does one find a Dirty Summers?
He likely signed on with a ship. I am not one to spy on others, let alone him.
I see.
My advice, keep away from him. After the incident the other day, it seems customers are staying at home.
May I ask for your assistance?
I can't tell you because I don't know.
Coffee won't go.
Somebody had fun. No brand or markings. It looks like a bulk product. Bottles of various shapes and sizes. I detect a mix of chemicals and aromas. several crates are missing. Phosphorus, used recently. Where is this going? Who is this intended to scare? Who is this intended to scare? A herbal odor with an ethylic base. Liquor? They opened the casket and left marks. There was a box in the coffin. It was removed quite recently. A small cart left those tracks. Inspired by the legend of Sleepy Hollow. That's most likely the ghost the old lady saw through the window.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
An effective contraption. It still works. Somebody played with phosphorus to give the illusion of ghosts or ectoplasm. In reality, they were here to mix a few ingredients and prepare a solution of some sort. Then they took a box hidden inside the casket, and they left through that gate with a small cart. Dr. Tippett's electric pectobrain. Patent medicine of the future.
A quick fix at an expensive price that drags them slowly into death.
Are you able to help me?
Oh, you are fortunate. I will help you.
The coffin won't go away and the doctor's too pricey.
Could you help me?
I wish I could be of help, but I can't. Sorry.
Is this familiar to you?
I wish I could be of help, but I can't. Sorry. The coffin won't go away and the doctor's too pricey.
Where are we? The field hospital? Good evening, sir. Are you the gentleman who sells that intriguing pecto-brain beverage?
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm Dr. Thomas Tippett, and yes, its proud inventor and purveyor.
Are you a doctor? You seem remarkably young.
I'm self-educated. I help people in need around these parts with my medicine.
Helping, as in bringing to the grave?
That is unfair, sir. The virtues of my invention are to calm the nerves, to stop coughing due to the endless smog, and to help children to sleep.
Has your beverage been tested by your peers or any medical authority? I am a doctor, and it appears that you are playing with people's lives, people who place their trust in you to ease their pain.
People need help, and drugs are expensive. My formula helps, and it's inexpensive. The product is dispensed from here only, so dose and usage are controlled. I looked into other patented medicines. They contain harmful or useless substrate, and they're sold in respected shops and pharmacies.
Do you realize what you are doing? You are playing with people's health.
You are a doctor. Take a look at my product. You won't find mercury, radium, lithium, or any other toxic substances drowned in alcohol and sold freely by so-called health professionals. I can show you how I work. Let me help people.
Watson, what do you make of this situation?
I'm not sure. Patent medicines can be a scourge, yes. But he is not entirely wrong in practice.
Why the haunted warehouse?
Well, nobody was using it, and people are afraid of ghosts. It kept them away until today. What I do is not entirely legal, but I do help people. I help up to 50 people here every day. It is working.
I can hear the patient suffers with their lungs.
The cart from Warehouse 2.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meatball?
Almost all men die from their remedies rather than their diseases. I want to change that. gas. I thought it was funny, but you can't get rid of it.
The patient has a high temperature and is short of breath.
If everything goes well,
Constable, I'm afraid we saw some troubling signs, unnatural even, inside the warehouse. Dr. Watson here can confirm it, and he's a specialist. It would be best to stay away for now.
Really? I'm 99% sure that ghosts don't exist, gentlemen. I won't report this to my colleagues after my shift. Some of them might be the naive sort who scare easy. I don't believe in ghosts. I did.
This pipe disposes of wastewater from a factory, a possible culprit, but would likely have caused trouble a long time ago. Moving on.
human waste. Despite looking fairly hazardous, I doubt it could cause such acute poisoning. I can't see any other major source of contamination in this section of the waterway. Perhaps another place. A recent cart crash. Phenol, a dangerous substance often used as a sanitizer, coming from Spade Chemicals. The fish's scales have decolorized. What a disaster. Can you satisfy my curiosity?
I think I can help you.
barrels of phenol from your company ended up in the canal. It has poisoned people. You will need to clean it up properly. Otherwise, we will inform the authorities.
What the... We will call the cleaning brigade immediately. I hope this can stay between us.
Gentlemen, the doctor here and I have found the source of the contamination. Spade Chemicals will take care of it.
That's pretty good news. But our friends for his treatment.
Pressurize the company. But for now, get rid of the stained clothes and rinse any skin. No one else should touch the canal today.
Thank you, we'll do that. Let's go to the cheap doctor for help.
What are you gawping at?
Mr. Soulsby, you know more than you're letting on.
What makes you say that?
A man named Dirty Summers was involved in some recent kidnappings across London. He used your name as a cover for his deeds.
What? Really? That doesn't mean I'm involved, though. Boulder Dash. Sorry, you lost me there.
Mr. Soulsby, you know... A man named...
What?
Your calling card was found at the crime scene. That's enough to make you a suspect.
You cannot be serious.
It's true. And that's before mentioning your gold watch. It's brand new and awfully expensive for a customs officer. Clearly you have found yourself another source of income. I'm sure Scotland Yard will be delighted to investigate further.
All right, stop. Look, it's not as it seems. I did not partake in the kidnappings.
I'm all ears, Mr. Soulsby.
Yes, I know Summers. He paid me to turn a blind eye to his business in the warehouse area. Just that, on my word.
You did not tell me which warehouse he used?
I do not recall, but I used red paint to mark unsupervised warehouses. Ought to be one of them.
What else can you say of Summers?
He is a regular at the Cursed Mermaid. Goes there with his crew almost every evening.
What for?
I don't know.
I assumed just for a drink.
I could do with a pint of the cursed mermaid.
Why do I have the feeling that you know more about Dirty Summers than you're letting on?
I have nothing more to add, sir. I failed to follow. Are you finished?
Why do I have...
I failed to...
Why do I... Enough. I have hard evidence that Summers was involved in recent kidnappings across London.
I'm not surprised. So what? You sure you ain't...
Why?
I am.
Enough.
I'm not surprised. You sure?
Why do...
I failed to...
Why do... Enough.
I'm not... You sure?
Why do
I failed...
Why do...
I failed to...
Why do
I have no...
Enough.
I'm not... You sure you're...
Why do
I have...
Enough.
I'm not... You sure you ain't been... Are you...
We must go.
Oh, no. No chance of a pint, then.
Why do...
I...
Enough.
Come.
A customs officer, Roy Soulsby, testified that Summers was a regular here. You must know something about his business.
All I know is his drinks order. Hard to make heads of...
Why do...
I...
Enough.
I'm not so...
A custom...
All I know is... Hard to make...
Why do...
I...
Enough.
I'm not...
A custom...
All I... Hard to make heads...
Why do...
I...
Enough.
You sure you ain't been drinking?
Why do...
I...
Enough.
I'm not surprised.
A customs off...
All I... Hard to make heads...
Why...
I failed to follow.
Why do...
I...
Enough.
I'm not...
A customs officer...
All... Hard to make.
Why do I...
I...
Enough.
Huh.
A customs...
All I... Hard to make heads or tails of this. Are you... I...
Enough.
Hum.
A custom...
All I... Hard to make heads or tails. Are you...
Why?
I...
Enough.
I'm not...
A customs off...
All I know... Hard to make it... Are you...
Why do...
I...
Enough.
Hum.
A custom...
All I... Hard to make heads or tails of this. Are you...
Why do...
I...
Enough. A custom...
All I know...
If the lives of the missing do not concern you, then I would urge you to think about your unborn child.
Are you threatening me?
Many people are missing, and the main suspect based himself in your establishment. One word to Scotland Yard and your life takes a turn for the worse. Now, spare yourself the trouble and tell me all you know.
Okay, okay. Summers hired my private room. I think he used it to recruit people, but I haven't seen him in a few days. He paid me cash, so I paid him no attention. Nor did I touch anything inside. Here's the key, go and do what you will. Just leave me out of it.
£5. That won't go far. Strange symbols. I don't recognize them.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie? If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
Doesn't look like anything to me.
What did you see of Summer's work here? He was recruiting people?
It was like the whole world came through my door. People of all creeds and colours, but always strong, always tall. They seem like workers, or journeymen. Beyond that, there's not much more to tell. I took his money and let him be.
And this lasted how long?
Several weeks, I wager. The people here are resilient. Tomorrow it'll all be forgotten.
Really, Holmes, this ought to be beneath you.
As my brother would say, it is for the greater good. Layers of rust will prevent any movement. This crank saw some use. Good quality, but torn in many spots. Mold. That's why you don't leave sailcloth lying out. The scratches are fresh, left by something metallic. There are a couple of marks on this end.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat?
Well oiled and well maintained. Fit for a crank. It's stuck. No one's used it in a very long time. A hidden passage, just as I expected. Wait here, Watson, and keep an eye on the doors. I'll scout the premises.
Will do. Be careful down there.
Wait, what's happening?